The Surgeon of Trafalgar, the life and legacy of Dr. William Beatty. This narrative is proudly brought to you by Polly Speaks For You. At Polly Speaks For You, we are committed to empowering individuals, especially those with disabilities or learning challenges, through innovative text-to-speech and voice recognition technology. Polly Speaks For You is more than just software. It's a tool for self-expression, connecting people with the world in meaningful ways. By blending the richness of history with cutting-edge technology, Polly Speaks For You demonstrates that every voice, whether preserving the past or shaping the future, has the potential to inspire. While we strive to make the story engaging, our primary focus is on storytelling itself. The visuals are secondary. We're showcasing the remarkable capabilities of text-to-speech software that bring these stories to life. Dr. William Beatty, born in 1768, was a British naval surgeon who played a key role in the medical treatment of wounded soldiers during the Napoleonic Wars, most famously attending to Admiral Lord Horatio Nelson after he was mortally wounded at the Battle of Trafalgar. Early life and career. Dr. Beatty was born in Ireland and began his education at Trinity College, Dublin. He chose the medical profession and entered the Royal Navy as a surgeon's mate in 1793 during the French Revolutionary Wars. He quickly proved his abilities and gained experience under various commands. The British Navy at the time required skilled surgeons to provide medical care on long voyages and during battles, and Dr. Beatty was no exception. His role often involved performing surgeries, treating disease outbreaks, and offering general care to the sailors and officers under his charge. His early career took him to various parts of the world, including the Caribbean and Mediterranean, where he experienced the hardships of war and naval life. He had an acute awareness of the challenges faced by sailors, who were often afflicted by scurvy, dysentery, and other diseases. However, the real test of his skills and composure would come in 1805 at the Battle of Trafalgar. Battle of Trafalgar. Dr. Beatty was aboard HMS Victory during the momentous Battle of Trafalgar on October 21, 1805, when Admiral Nelson, the celebrated commander of the British fleet, was fatally shot. In his memoirs, Dr. Beatty recalls the moment Nelson was brought below deck, bleeding heavily from the musket ball wound to his chest. According to Dr. Beatty's account, he worked desperately to save Nelson, but there was little hope of survival. The Admiral's calm demeanor in the face of death left a profound impression on Dr. Beatty. The surgeon writes, "His gaze was steady, his voice calm. As he was carried into my care, he requested that his uniform remain intact, that he die as a true sailor should, proud of his nation's flag. It was an honor to serve him, but in truth, there was nothing more I could do. I could feel his life slipping away, but he showed no fear, only an acceptance that his duty had been fulfilled." Dr. Beatty's description of Nelson's final moments also captures the sense of peaceful resignation that the Admiral exhibited. In the surgeon's writings, Nelson's last words were, "Kiss me, Hardy." This was directed to Captain Thomas Hardy, who was with him when he passed. However, Dr. Beatty's recollection adds that the Admiral's last words were also, "Thank God, I have done my duty." In his diary, Dr. Beatty reflects on the paradox of the situation. While Nelson's death was a tragedy, it was a death that came with honor and dignity. Beatty's writings often emphasize this bittersweet nature of naval life. Sailors and officers faced death with courage, but the surgeons had to contend with the brutal reality of their limited ability to save lives in battle. Life after Trafalgar. After Trafalgar, Dr. Beatty continued his service in the Royal Navy. He rose through the ranks and, in 1814, was appointed surgeon to the fleet. He later became the official Surgeon General to the Royal Navy, a position he held for many years. His career continued in service to the Navy, but he would always be remembered for his role in the most famous of naval battles. Dr. Beatty kept a detailed diary, where he frequently reflected on the nature of duty, bravery, and sacrifice. One poignant entry recalls the countless injuries he treated and the men he lost during his service. The hours stretch endlessly when you hear the cries of men in pain, and yet there is so little you can do. I have seen men brave and strong, now reduced to mere shadows of their former selves. But I have also seen the quiet dignity of those who know their fate, who accept it with grace. It is the sailor's way, and it is the greatest honor to tend to them in their time of need. Dr. Beatty's writings also convey the personal toll of being a ship surgeon. The emotional weight of his work was often overwhelming, as he was not only responsible for saving lives, but also for witnessing the suffering of the men under his care. He recounts how, despite his professional detachment, he found it difficult to remain unaffected by the human cost of war. In one of his diary entries, Beatty writes, "I have lost count of the number of times I have stood at a patient's side, trying to offer comfort, knowing that it will do little to ease the pain. But you cannot let them see your sorrow. You must be strong for them, just as they are strong for their comrades." Final years and legacy. Dr. Beatty eventually retired from the Royal Navy in 1825 after a long and distinguished career. He wrote about his experiences in various journals and letters, and his recollections of Lord Nelson and the Battle of Trafalgar were published posthumously. His contributions to naval medicine were significant, and he was highly respected by his peers. Dr. Beatty's career mirrored the evolution of military medicine during the Napoleonic Wars. He witnessed firsthand the development of surgical techniques and the necessity for medical officers on the front lines. Dr. Beatty died in 1842, and his legacy as a compassionate and capable surgeon lives on in the annals of British naval history. His service during the Battle of Trafalgar remains one of the most notable moments in his life, both as a professional and as a witness to one of history's greatest naval heroes. Anecdotes and reminiscences. In his later years, Dr. Beatty would often recount his time aboard HMS Victory to younger naval surgeons, teaching them about the emotional resilience required in the face of tragedy. He once said, "When you look into the eyes of a dying man, especially one who has given everything for his country, you realize that the real battle is not fought with swords and cannons. It is fought in the heart, in the mind, in how we confront the inevitable." This idea became a cornerstone of his philosophy on medicine. He believed that a surgeon's greatest skill was not just in their technical ability, but in their empathy and understanding of the human spirit. He would advise the young doctors in his care to never forget that they were dealing with human lives, each one with its own story, hopes, and fears. Dr. Beatty's life, filled with duty and dedication, is a testament to the sacrifices made by those who serve in times of war. His service as a naval surgeon during the Napoleonic Wars, especially his role at Trafalgar, made him a key figure in the history of naval medicine, and his legacy continues to inspire those who follow in his footsteps. If you're enjoying this story, please remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating content that educates and empowers. To learn more about South Africa's leading accessibility software and to support our dyslexic-friendly initiative, visit www.polispeaksforyou.co.za. Drop a comment if you want more information. Thank you for watching this video.